Hello, this is Johnny Cycles with CyclesGaming.com, bringing you another edition of Keeping Modern Janky with my Outlaw Aristocrats build. We're into our second league match. Whew, last match we started with 2 1-landers in our opening 7s, our opening 7 then mulled to 6 and had that, and now we have 6 lands. Brutal. Alright. Sometimes... well, we're not going to ship this one. We're going to trust that we'll draw some cards, or draw some lands. We know we're going to draw some cards. We'll trust that we'll draw some lands. Put the next list to the bottom. I mean, we have some of our best cards in our hand. I don't even know if I want to try to run out of Tinybones right now, given that our opponent is holding up Lightning Bolt mana. I think we'll wait a turn and hopefully draw into a land. So I know the industry standard, from what they say, is if you have a fetch land and you need to make land drops, don't fetch out a land because it reduces your percentages of drawing a land. I know that's true, but I also feel like sometimes your deck just needs a good shuffle. We'll see what our opponent does, though. Looks like they're holding up Bowmaster mana. Alright, we're going to follow the rules of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, we did not get rewarded for that. Just in my experience, like the number of times I've shuffled and drawn a land feel very great. So why not just continue or fetch and shuffle so that I can draw into a land. Alright, well, we're going to do that. We're going to shuffle no matter what. See what our opponent is up to as we're missing our land drops. They're playing a Jeskai deck. Looks like it's going to be a Teferi. Yeah, it's not very good for us. So, alright, so we tried it both ways. We shuffled. Or we didn't shuffle and missed a land drop, and then we shuffled and we missed a land drop. So, it's pretty rough beats right now. It's part of magic, I guess. It's just, yeah, I wonder why suddenly when I jump into a league with a deck, it just plays so poorly when I won every single game with this deck in the practice. And it's fine, like, I don't need to win every single game. You just want to execute and play. Like, I want to play Magic. I don't want to just flood out. I don't want to have to mulligan into Oblivion. I don't want to get mana screwed. So, and right now, woo, we are getting mana screwed. Alright, well, we can spend our resources answering this Teferi, perhaps. And it's the deck mocks us in so much that we can't even... I mean, we can't even cast the Voidwalkers in our hand when we draw a basic mountain. Force a negation. We know one card is a Supreme Verdict. This Fiddle Push is looking pretty bad. What did they pitch? Did they pitch the Supreme? They pitched the Supreme Verdict. No, wait. They exiled a Force a negation. Alright, well, we'll just give them a target for their Teferi. Try to put something on the battlefield here. Maybe we'll draw some lands. I mean, they're gonna get, they'll be up to 5 cards by the end of their turn. So I assume they'll bounce, draw with Teferi, search with Narset, and then draw for turn. That's a total of 3 more cards. Okay, so they surveilled a Solitude into the graveyard. Interesting. I wonder what they're looking for then. They're not worried about Tinybones. The One Ring. Joke's on you. We weren't going to attack you anyway, opponent. We are going to attack your Narset. And they got another One Ring. How nice. Man, our deck is just struggling. Holy cow. Yeah, I mean, when you stumble on mana against some of the best cards in the format, I mean, this is a control shell looking to just... This is where they want to be at. They want to have... making land drops, having planeswalkers, and the One Ring, of course, to draw them more action and answers. While we are a combo deck, essentially looking to get multiple pieces on the board. And playing from behind against a control deck means we probably aren't going to get a lot of pieces on the board. So I assume they're going to bounce the... Alright, no. I was going to say bounce this so they can draw cards, but they'll probably answer it some other way. Solitude. Oh, just a Supreme Verdict. Sure. This Fairy's going to go the distance. They have counter magic up. I mean, at this point, we're doing one thing a turn to their multiple cards in hand, multiple. I mean, they do only have the 2 cards. They're going to get up to 4 here. Bringing on that Force of Negation on the Teferi makes everything. If they just had the One Ring out, I'd almost feel like we might have a chance. But being that they have both Teferi and the One Ring, well, one of the cards is a One Ring, so it's possible. It's possible that we get there. I keep waiting for them to bounce something with the Teferi, but maybe they're just worried about getting it into bolt range. Okay, maybe they found another Supreme Verdict. Or just a Solitude. I don't even know if I care about the Teferi at this point. Just try to get their life total lowered a little bit. No matter what we play, they can just bounce it. It's the worst part. I don't even know if I really want to show them. Right now they think we're Rakdos Scam. I just think we're so far behind that we need to have some kind of... Yeah, that was just very frustrating. I mean, we're on 1 land for 3 turns. I mean, we're going to bring in a lot. The Fatal Pushes don't look very great. We need to cut 5 cards. Tinybones is looking pretty bad. with like basically no targets. And maybe we cut a single Obnixilus. Will we get a playable 7? Will our deck come together and do what it's supposed to do? No answer for the One Ring in our sideboard, though. Alright, we are back to 2 lands. I don't know, I was going to say 1 land, then I saw the second one. Alright, well, this is something. We don't have an answer for Teferi off the top, and we don't have a Thoughtseize, but we do have a lot of other things that are going to help us, I think. We do have a way to nerf life gain. They probably play Leyline Binding or Prismatic Ending, I imagine, in their deck. So how do we want to go about punishing them? We have no Ragavan turn 1, unfortunately. They're keeping 7, which is always a good start for our opponent. We can run out this Voidwalker and get the party started. And we can run out the Vortex. Force of Negation hits Vortex, though. I feel like Voidwalker has the most upside. Least likely get forced. And if they want to use a Prismatic Ending or something on it, then we're okay with that. Next turn we can either go, we'll probably do Rolling Vortex and hopefully stick an Obnixilus to start that party. Still nothing in the graveyard, so they were looking for lands or a Blood Moon. So we have 1 black source. Good thing we drew that swamp, huh? Do they have an answer? I feel like they probably do. But we're going to run it out anyway because we drew it. Do they have the Force of Negation or a Spell Pierce or something? Or will this be enough to prevent them from playing Magic for the near future? They're in the tank. Alright, it resolves. It's good for us. Bad for our opponent, hopefully. There are 3 mountains. I guess they can always find or cast the One Ring still, right? Do we hit a land? We do. I'm going to pitch a Solitude. That is an acceptable play. We can roll in Vortex, Dauthi Voidwalk, or Zulaport Cutthroat. All the hate pieces. So setting up for Obnixilus next turn. So I'm wanting to draw some cards. Digging for basic lands. Getting protection. What do we draw? A Thoughtseize, which we can't use to target. Alright, well, let the fun begin with Ob Nixilis and Rolling Vortex combo. Or do they find another Solitude? I mean, it's interesting that you can turn your opponent off of all of their mana and they can still play Magic by playing the One Ring and things like free spells. Granted, the free spells aren't going to do anything but keep them just tread water, but when you're drawing all these extra cards a turn. Gonna land off the top. Another land off the top, and it's a swamp this time, so that's good. We can make our double swamp plays. And it's a 6/5, drawing some cards. Do they find another Solitude? They found a basic island. That's big for our opponent. Playing another One Ring. Desperate to stay alive and find answers. I mean, the One Ring is buying them a lot of time, to be fair. It's a really big deal for them. I mean, our Ob Nixilis is up to 6/5. It'll be a 7/6 next turn. They just need to find a Solitude, and they have so many cards. We're hoping that they can't find another basic island, or their hand is full of things they can't cast, obviously. What do we draw? Another swamp. Boo. So now we're flooding. And yeah, so I guess we will pass the turn because of the One Ring. Yeah, you figure like if a Blood Moon, with what we have going on right now, if Blood Moon isn't going to win it, I mean, if they can get out from under a Blood Moon, then you have to wonder just how bad Blood Moon really is. We're going to get to look at another 2 cards. So we've essentially been looking at 3 cards a turn, and we saw 3 lands. And a 4th land. Man, 21 lands and we are just flooding real hard. They're desperate, trying to find something. Meanwhile, we're desperate to try to another One Ring. Holy cow. Just to find anything. They're looking and looking for a Solitude. They have to have found something, right? They've pitched a Solitude to Solitude, so I guess they're looking for 2 more Solitudes in 40 cards. So are we going to dodge it? Meanwhile, we've hit in the past 6 cards off of our library. We've seen 4 lands. This is each opponent, so I mean, I don't even think that targets, unfortunately. Alright, so they're also looking, yeah, for just an island or plains, I believe. Did we really draw another land? Tell me we didn't. Oh, we did. There it is. Oh my goodness. Well, they're dead on board at this point. Words are escaping me right now. Our opponent has drawn all the cards. Leyline of Sanctity they brought in. Found 3 One Rings. Can't find a Solitude apparently. We've looked at so many cards with this Ob Nixilis, like we flooded out so hard. We still might get there, but man, the flood is real. There's a Bowmasters. That's nice. And they scoop it up. Alright, well, when Blood Moon shuts them down, holy cow, what are we going to draw? We finally saw some action off the top. I don't know why it does this, where it won't let me see the card we're drawing. Maybe if someone knows, they can tell me. We finally saw some action off the top. Blood Moon kept them from playing Magic, despite the number of cards they drew. Now they know what the jig is up, I guess. We don't really have any ways to interact with what they're doing. The ley line is obviously a problem, but we Vial Smasher targets, Zulaport Cutthroat doesn't. Thoughtseize would be dead then. It is what it is. I mean, they may take it out at this point. Hey, we got a game on the back of a Blood Moon. But now they're on the play. And I have a feeling they're going to be more ready for Blood Moon this time around. Well, if they have a ley line, we're going to be really sad. We'll be very sad. Yeah, they're going to be playing around at this time. And will it be enough? We got the 2 Thoughtseizes, so that's a good thing for us. See if the way is clear. Stern, Scolding, Spell, Pierce. Non-creature spell unless it pays 2, so they could have spell pierced that. So what do we want to take? I mean, the spell Stern Scolding counters a lot of our stuff. Alright. We'll see if that was the right play. They may not want to crack a fetch yet. They do not. And there's a Blood Moon. I kind of just want to dash in this Ragavan. See if they pitch the Teferi to cast Solitude. See if they pull the trigger here, if they found an answer. Okay, did they find another Stern Scolding? They did. How convenient. Alright, well, we'll see what they do. I mean, we can still try to punish them with this Blood Moon if they don't fetch correctly. See what they go for. They're going to go for our basic planes, I assume. Oh, they're not even doing that. Okay. Well, I guess they're trusting that they can get around what we're going to do over here. So we won't... I mean, if they do the Teferi, I mean, we can Molten Collapse it. And then hope to get a Blood Moon. They still have the... Alright, well, I'm confused. Maybe I just misread. I thought it was a Spell Snare. It was 2 Stern Scoldings that they had. Okay. Well, that's okay. They can have 2 Stern Scoldings. I would have totally Thoughtseized them had I... That's really unfortunate for us. Oh, man. Oh, well. It is what it is. Land would be great. Masters. It's not really what we wanted. Yeah, I mean, that's really awkward for us. Because we were going to... Just didn't read the cards very well. I swear it said Spell Snare. Otherwise, I would have Thoughtseized the Stern Scolding out of their hand and then cast a Ragavan. Come on. Oh, man. Brutal. That's a misplay. Alright, see if we can overcome that. Preordained digging. Can we draw a land before they can find counter magic? And do they find a fetch land? Both to the bottom. They found a fetch land, but it can't get them a plains, which is good for us. Give us a land deck one time. One time deck. Oh my gosh. Okay. Triple Bowmasters and the Thoughtseize. Alright, well, we're going to pass the turn. And flooded out last game. Can't find a land this game. We will pass the turn and Bowmasters at the end of their turn. Hopefully they don't hit another. Hopefully they don't hit any basic plains anytime soon. Another Teferi. I mean, that is their best card against Blood Moon. That's for sure. Roiling Vortex. So we can put this to 2 theoretically. See what they want to do. They may decide if they have a way to pitch Solitude, they may just protect the Teferi. I mean, we're still desperate for our land. Holy cow, we cannot find a land to save our lives. I mean, triple Bowmasters is really nice, but we need to be able to do more than one thing in a turn. And 21 lands is not, like, it's not that few. Like, I don't think it's like, it's too few, to be honest. We just are not getting lucky. Last game we saw the flood and we managed to overcome it with the Blood Moon. This game we are really struggling. Do we get a land? Can we find a land? So we can Thoughtseize. If we go Grenadier, at least we can try to get rid of this Teferi. Let's just try to get this Blood Moon down and see if it will do enough. We need, so the Teferi is 1/1 turn away from answering it. So what we can do is Bowmasters, ping it, Thoughtseize, the One Ring. Never mind about the Thoughtseize. We will no longer be Thoughtseizing. We would still like to hit a land, so we can go Bowmasters and Vortex. Another One Ring. Man, it's just like repeat of last game. Our Bowmasters Vial Smasher is probably what we'd want to do. Thank you, it's a land. We're finally making our land drops. Solitude, pitching Solitude. Play the Vial Smasher, try to get this Teferi off the board before they can get out from under our Blood Moon with it. They have 2 cards in hand, they'll be drawing into at least 2 more. And we know one of them is the One Ring, so let's see if they can find something to stop us from killing their Teferi. Making a mountain land drop. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe they're just not playing in many basic planes. You would think that they would have fetched up some basic planes had they been playing them. One Ring. Nope, they're getting their commander. Now they might have found a Solitude then. Voidwalker. Do we want to Thoughtseize? See what they're up to? Do we want to Voidwalker? See if this brings out the Solitude that they found off the One Ring. Or it could be Force Negation. There's the Solitude. Yep, that's why I figured they were going for their commander. Solitude pitching, or to get rid of the Vial Smasher. Spell Pierce, that's its controller paste 2. Slowing us down. Do they have a second Spell Pierce? Well, they don't have the blue mana for it, so Prismatic Ending. Yeah, well, they could always find a planes. I thought they got a One Ring, but I guess I'm wrong. Alright, so they're going to draw a lot of cards. Will they find anything they can do? We are looking at next turn. I mean, they're going to draw so many cards. Next turn, Voidwalker, Roiling Vortex, and hope that they don't find an answer for our Orcish army. Our single Orcish army that's barely keeping Teferi in line. Oh, yep, draw some cards, opponent. Draw some cards. We're also probably due to draw a land, having missed land drops and then made some land drops, and now missed land drops. What a long game. Grindy, and they found a plains. Alright, well, we know one of their cards is this. Good thing we took that prismatic ending, I guess. They did find a basic plane. So they were just greedy in their fetching. Assuming we would probably just take out now they can just play another Teferi. Well, we're going to go for the Teferi. Hopefully they didn't draw another one. They put one in the graveyard. So sequencing there, we could have done the Voidwalker first. I was hoping that if they drew a counterspell, they would have used it on the Bolt, and then we would have baited it out and stuck the Voidwalker, which is a bigger, overall, I think, better threat, as it gives us a way to kill the Teferi. Alright, did they find another Teferi? Because now they have the mana to cast a Teferi and bounce our Blood Moon. So many cards, so many cards. We're going to be up to 9. It's like, what are the chances they don't find another basic land, a Teferi, a Prismatic Ending? Now they have counter magic. They still don't have Supreme Verdict mana, but... And they get another One Ring. I mean, they have a whole new 7 cards in their hand. I'm sure Blood Moon can keep up with that just fine. Just fine. Did they finally counter magic? I mean, 7 cards is so many. So many. And they already know the synergies here with this in our deck. So, I mean, yeah, you got to counterspell it and hope that the One Ring buys you enough time and draws you into your answers. This one's getting away from us here, folks. I mean, there are just too much card draw, and not enough pressure from us. I mean, last game we had the Omnix list to help draw us into cards and pressure our opponent's life total, and really put the strain on them having to find an answer. In this game, we are, unless, I mean, maybe we get lucky, they miss all their removal and just draw like Supreme Verdicts. But they have so many ways to interact with what we're doing now that so many cards, like they have enough mana. They don't need the double white for Supreme Verdict to interact with what we're doing. Assuming if they do play the Teferi, they're gonna, I'm sure, bounce the Blood Moon to turn on their manas and then have everything else available to them. Like Solitude or, yep, we'll just have 6. Yeah, I mean, I think we just didn't find the kind of pressure we needed early enough. Once we stuck the Blood Moon, we were just having to play. They were able to basically keep their life total high enough while we try to get rid of their Teferi, because it was that the dance of play the Teferi, or if we don't chip down, if we don't hit down the Teferi, then they can get rid of our Blood Moon. So all of our attacks kept having to go to Teferi, and they were able to answer just enough to keep us from being able to get oh yeah, we don't have a Blood Moon anymore, so might as well go get a swamp. Is it force negation time? And all your 7 cards. So yeah, we spent all of our time trying to just chip away at Teferi's life total, their loyalty, so that they couldn't get to 3 and bounce our Blood Moon. We didn't draw any big threats in that process. Instead, we drew, you know, Thoughtseize is great, but the One Ring stopped us from being able to do anything on those turns. Rolling Vortex, we went with Vial Smasher and Orcish Bowmasters on the turn when we could have stuck the Rolling Vortex. I mean, it's, I guess, possible that they'll die to their own One Ring. Seems very unlikely. They are at 5, though. There's a world in which we draw a Lightning Bolt and just hit them. Right now, they have their double planes too, so they could easily just Solitude is what I'm expecting is about to happen. Meanwhile, we're gonna just try to get our opponent down to Lightning Bolt range and trust that they run out of answers, right? Solitude to exile, or just to block. Yeah, might as well block, gain some life. You'll net 2 life total, so why not? We'll just throw out another Blood Moon. See if they have a counterspell. This way we can let them bounce one of our Blood Moons. And now they just are going to be gaining 3 life every turn. So I think at this point we can probably scoop. We're no longer going to lose to the One Ring, or they're no longer going to lose to the One Ring. We're going to lose to combat damage with just a landslide of cards from them. Just so many cards, and then they can always bounce the One Ring with the Teferi and loop it that way. So I mean, we had a small window there, I think, where if we'd gotten a better draw, we would have been able to put more pressure on our opponent. They were able to chain the One Rings together long enough to, I mean, we had them down to just a breeding pool, right? just a breeding pool. And then they managed to, with the one ring, draw back into enough action to stabilize. It's a good card, the one ring. Alright, for CyclesGaming.com, this is Johnny Cycles. I'll catch y'all on the next one. See what we're drawing. Yeah. Alright, peace out. This has been another edition of Keeping Modern Janky with Johnny Cycles. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out my website, CyclesGaming.com, for original Magic the Gathering content. You can read about my Commander decks or my Janky Modern brews. My latest article is about the Zombie Precon and its effect on Commander. I give you a couple different deck lists. If you're interested in a science fiction / fantasy novel, be sure to check out my book, The Podkind. I'm publishing it serially, a couple chapters every month. Again, thanks for watching. Check me out on YouTube, Johnny Cycles. Click that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll catch you on the next one.